Okay, so we'll get started and people can basically just join in afterwards. So yeah, so it's quite funny how time flies. I remember the first time. So hi everyone, hope all is well. So, you know, here RD Labs, and we've got Project Oasis here for the AMA, actually our second AMA. I remember the first one we did, I can't, you know, that was probably a good, what, couple of months ago now. And I recall you only had a few members within your Telegram group, and you know a lot of people didn't know aware of what you were doing, but clearly exploded. So we've got the team here from Oasis, so we've got the co-founders here also. So basically today was literally just, you know, where I see our connection, myself, RD Labs, you know, we're friends. You know, I believe this is not just it's not a business transaction to me. You know, we love to provide value and help projects that are exciting, that really have something they're really pioneering in the space. And we truly believe that Project Oasis is exactly the case. And we've seen some phenomenal growth within the project since we did the first AMA. So today, essentially, we're just basically just to spend, you know, half an hour, 45 minutes, really just to tap in and, you know, talk to you all from your side to really understand more in terms of what has occurred since we last obviously did the AMA, the updates from a development aspect, marketing aspect, and really first and foremost, just knowing how you're doing and obviously just seeing, because obviously seeing is believing. So really have an opportunity that we can really see the platform, what's changed, and why we still believe that this is going to be a phenomenal project. So I'm going to actually probably put this over to your side. I guess one of the co-founders, Vince, FS. So I'm going to pull it over to you, Vince, is okay. So you can be able to give us a heads up in terms of what's happening and basically just make you the host and then take it from there, if that sounds good.
Yep, sure. Thank you, Ken. Yep, so happy to be here again after a few weeks, right? So this is Vince speaking, and I'm one of the co-founder of Oasis platform. And over here, we have FS, which is also the co-founder of Oasis. And we have the rest of the team here as well, Day, Love, and by the way, Love is also our another co-founder in Oasis, right? So we have another team of us, a team member of Oasis, which is Day, right? So like what I've mentioned, you know, it's been just a couple of weeks since we last had our AMA in, you know, in RD Labs with RD Familiar, but it seems like we have gone through many years of development, right? So happy to be here to be able to share with you all on our new development again, right? So please allow me to share my screen. Just a couple of seconds. Right, so maybe just let me cover a little bit on what has improved since the last AMA, right? So if you look at just a brief recap on what we've done, what we have covered in the previous AMA. So basically, this is the 2D metaverse for Oasis, and the buildings here actually representing different partners, right? So you know, we might have this building representing Polka Starter, and we might have another building representing BSC Starter, and we might have this building representing some other dApps in the space, right? And if you look at the building structure, the building layout has actually improved tremendously since the last AMA, right? So if you look at this building, we have a BSC News here, and over here we have a Minted Lab, and we have Cake Monster as well, right? So these are actually our new partners which has onboarded into Oasis, right? And in terms of the game performance, we have improved the game rendering performance and also the server stability, because after going through a couple of public beta with the community, there were tons of feedback pertaining to the performance of the game, right? Because after we have our public beta, you know, we have lots of people coming into our Oasis platform, and some of them actually feedback that, hey, in terms of the performance, you know, we experience a little bit of performance issue, especially when it comes to Mac. So we have actually addressed that. And right now I'm actually streaming from our Mac PC, and you know, the performance that we are seeing is actually butter smooth, right? And we have also improved in terms of the server stability. Previously, our server, you know, we noticed a little bit of a lag when it comes to you know, just holding like 20 to 50 players. But right now, our server is able to withstand hundreds of players without much issue. And we have also launched our launchpad. So if you look at this building here, this building is actually representing our Ola launchpad. So upon clicking on the Ola launchpad, you can actually interact with the launchpad, right? So let me just switch to testnet a little bit. Yep. So we have actually done a few tests internally, and what you see here is actually 3 IDOs we launched, right? So from here itself, we can actually see the information of the IDO, and upon clicking on the IDO itself, you can see more information about the IDO, about the project information, the KYC information, some very important links about the IDO itself, and also whether the IDO has already been audited, right? Basically, what you would expect when you interact with any launchpad, right? So right here, the thing that you're seeing is actually our first ever launchpad in Oasis platform. And we have also added some little tweaks to maintain the harmony of the game, because after we run our public beta, we notice, even though we have a lot of response from the player, but we see things get a bit messy when we have so many people from different regions coming together, right? Because you will see people speaking Chinese, people speaking English, and people speaking Korean. So if you look at the chat over here, we have actually segregated the chat based on different languages. So we have, English channel, we have Chinese channel, we have Indonesian channel, and we have Korean channel as well, right? And in the previous public, the public beta, we have also noticed, some people will start spamming and start hurling insults. Those are the things that we will notice when we see a lot of community mingling around. And because of that, we have also incorporated the profanity filter, right? So basically, if you type some vulgarities in the game itself, those words will actually be censored, right? So if you look at this TV over here, this TV is actually, meant to host advertisement. And, in the future, we will also be incorporating a live AMA in the TV itself. And if you get near to the TV will become bigger so that the audience get a better look on the content within the TV itself. So this is the scene that we are seeing at this moment. We have also incorporated one new scene. Previously when during the first AMA, everything is just one piece, right? There is no transition between one scene to another scene. And as we speak, we have actually incorporated, the transition from one scene to another scene. This is actually to allow us to host more buildings and also to reduce the server rendering performance. So if I just come to here, I think there is some connection issue here. Just give me a moment. Maybe just give me a moment to load the other scene. And of course, I would also want to share a bit about our PBE. Also, so maybe Hediday, can you just share the trailer to our AD familiar so that I can have a better view on what's going to be expected for our participants?
First and foremost, Vince, I think it's absolutely phenomenal in terms of the growth of development that's taken place since we last did this. Because obviously there was the lag, the latency in terms of the speed. I think obviously we had discussions regarding the amount of people that will be using it at one given time. I've seen the kind of the UI aspect, the aesthetics is extremely strong now from an optics perspective. And what I do like is how you've gone that step from not just having something that one can connect and use and play around and communicate with. We're actually building castles, right? People are having their own headquarters, and these are tangible existing businesses from who have you got? Cake Monster, BSC News, Rug Doctors, well-known established projects in the space with communities, yes? And now then you can see how the whole adoption can really gear, because this is going to be a go-to place. So it's just phenomenal in terms of the rate of iteration that has taken place. I commend you, but please continue, Holiday.
Yep, Holiday, do you want to share a little bit on our participate to earn?
Yeah, before we move on, just let me briefly talk about all the elements you see in the Project Oasis today. Things like Cake Monster, Rug Doctor. If you notice, what we did from a GameFi perspective was we wanted to create a simple yet comfortable environment for everyone to experience these sectors in the metaverse. And if you notice, the interactions between newsstands and Rug Doctor and Cake Monster will significantly be improved if you compare to what you see in today's websites, rather than just going through text articles or basically trying to understand what are interactions with a certain protocol. Here you will see there are clear separation between each instance and each activity that is provided. So the reason I wanted to explain this beforehand is because leading up to our participate to earn, we are actually incorporating a system whereby we want our people on the Oasis to interact with our protocols. So one moment, let me share my okay, so what I mean by this is, if you can go to the middle of the map, you will notice there is a very big tree in the city.
Just
one moment, I can. Yeah. Perhaps you can give the screen sharing to Wilson there.
Yeah, can you give screen sharing permission to Wilson?
To Wilson. Okay, give me a second. Vince, you're actually the host now, so you can give it to Wilson.
Yeah, one moment, yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, got it. Wilson, I think you can share already.
Can you go to the project map first? Yep. So anyway, if you notice in the middle of the city now, right, in the Oasis, what you see is a very big green tree. And this, I think someone's mic is acting up.
Okay, can everyone please mute their audio? Thank you.
Yep, thanks. So as I was saying, right, this big tree in the middle of Oasis is not just aesthetic or something that is put as a placeholder. This will be one of our core interactions in the metaverse, because this tree itself will represent the founding of the metaverse, and also how we would like to give back to our community through this participate to earn program. Through this tree, users will be able to check what are their daily tasks, what sort of interactions are going to be done in the Oasis, which will reward them. For example, if you had to interact with Cake Monster today, then we will put it there like a quest that you need to interact with Cake Monster to take notice of this certain protocol. And this is how we plan to sort of direct traffic, not to only to the protocol, but to create awareness for everyone. So with that being said, I would like to share with you the trailer before I go further into our play to earn segment.
And just a quick one, would that work in a way where the content clearly is provided by the various projects within Oasis, right? Because how would there be certain permissions set based on the requirements and tasks that one would have to do? How would you see that playing out?
Yep. So basically, when we onboard a partner and when we add their interaction to our platform, number one, we would like to verify how complex is the interaction and whether if you require users to spend any form of currency. We hope to reduce this amount by just getting users to take note of a protocol's core functions. That would be our initial goal, rather than just going to go there, do a swap or do some trading. What we want is for users to take note of the protocol's functions, and we will have a checker to check that he has done this action and participated with it.
And these notification aspects would be done, would there be some form of way of integrating that someone could be able to receive notifications via their phone? I don't know, SMS, some form, or would they have to plug into Oasis to be able to see what's been done?
Yep. So what we will show is when you click on the tree, you would actually notice that the tree will tell you your task and what is today's task and whether you have accomplished it. And in the video that we are about to show, it will show you a sneak peek of what that billboard will look like. And I guess people will get a better understanding, which is more gamified. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep. So this is our first trailer, which we are about to show, and it can be also viewed on our YouTube. But just let's have a look together, guys.
I think Wilson is muted, so the game trailers sound is not playing.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, guys. So having seen the trailer, if you notice that near the end, we showed where the players go back to the tree to click on it to claim their rewards. That is the sort of interaction we are promoting. And what we would do to address what Ken asked earlier was, we actually have an in-game inbox coming soon, which players will receive notification of the latest happenings of what's going on in the metaverse. So to proceed from here, Ken, do you have any questions first?
No, I was absolutely fantastic. Love the trailer. You know, it's like I'm watching some Hollywood type of trailer right now. So really, really interesting. And I do like the UI aspect in terms of the airdrop perspective. I think what's really crucial, as you just mentioned, is, you know, having that inbox aspect in terms of notifications, and then also ways to be able to then share whatever one would like to share to friends, family, you know, other, you know, peers. And that could also be an interesting driver to be able to bring more adoption. So I do love that whole verification aspect.
Yep, glad to hear that. So let me just describe what you have seen in the trailer as well. So during the trailer, it's sort of like a sneak preview of our play to earn aspect. But we didn't want to keep our metaverse so empty, you know. So what we decided to do was, we decided to incorporate a sort of dungeon in the game where users will go and compete with a mini boss first. So this mini boss, of course, will change on a very consistent basis to represent our new partners and the onboarding of new projects and protocols into the Oasis. This is sort of like an introductory system to what we are going to present to our community in the future. Okay, so moving on to the task that I talked about in the participate to earn. Firstly, let's touch on the point of bringing DeFi together with GameFi. So part of the interactions that we will utilize is, number one, the farming protocols. We want to encourage users to participate in our protocol. So every time users participate in a farm and they do a transaction on Pancake Swap, what we will do is we will record all these transactions and allocate a weightage to the user. This is to sort of reward them to use our metaverse to use these protocols rather than just going back to the plain website. Secondly, I would like to share with everyone that what you've seen in the end of the trailer, where a lot of unique characters came to the map, this is actually what we have in mind for the Oasis in Envision actually. Because during this project, we want to see a lot of parties and a lot of people come together. And having people from different protocols will give us more variety in the field when we are going to launch our NFTs in the market. To start off, you have seen that we have given away our OG NFTs and we have given away our beta NFTs. These NFTs will be available shortly after our launch. But after our IDO, I would give it roughly about a month, we will be introducing our NFT sales, which is actually providing people who miss out on the previous NFTs to purchase our in-game cosmetics, which not only just sort of an image. It allows users to traverse our metaverse as the NFT they possess, and also carry an airdrop weightage, which links back to our participate to earn system. So this is sort of like a sneak preview of what users can expect from all the things being done in Oasis, where it relates back to our airdrop system and rewards the user with a weekly airdrop based on tokens that we have claimed in the pool from our partners.
No, I do like the whole tokenomic structure behind it, right? Kind of rewarding those via way of airdrops that can obviously increase the amount of people using the platform. I think the immersive experience for users is really interesting. I think one area that a lot of projects would really struggle, I think from a consumer aspect, it really helps because then there's a go-to place, as I've always said, whereby I think we're personally going through a period where people are slightly tired of just going to telegrams of the world or, you know, equivalents to be able to just build up their and communicate. People want this driver where they can be able to build relationships with those that have similar interests and areas, have access to content, whether it's BSC News or wherever it may be, and their relevant projects that they hold. But so that's from more of a consumer aspect, but from a business aspect, I also see where the market's really evolving to aspects where there'll be a lot of sense of focus, not just on when someone basically invests in their project, but ultimately how to be able to build a lean business. So it's moving from a project to a business where you actually start generating revenues. You actually start finding ways that you can be able to increase the amount of holders you have, but not just from an aspect of investing, but also within the community. And I really see Oasis as the go-to place where projects in the next 6 months, a year, 2 years, this is my view, that there'll be a lot of focus on projects focusing on like their LTV, like their lifetime value of their holder, you know, the burn rate, the CAC rate, all of these interesting metrics that no one's really talking about now, but they're going to really focus on marketing. So i.e., where are we going to actually deploy our capital? Is it going to be on marketing budget for, you know, for ads, or are we actually going to have partnerships with Oasis of the world that we can provide content, we can have our community to build relationships within the ecosystem and increase that retention, and then hopefully build up that awareness? So is that an aspect of your thought process down the long run in terms of, you know, my long-term views of where I see this whole market moving and how Oasis plays within that?
Yep. So I think you got it very spot on. One thing, if you notice in the Oasis, we are not solely focused on our protocol as well. We are focus is about expanding the reach of community to the crypto space as far as we can. And if you talk about advertisement, as you notice, we have the TV there, right? From that TV, we plan to share a lot of news to our public, which is not just about GameFi or sort of like farming. What we want to share is basically content that will be beneficial to our community. And take, for instance, if we are doing a weekly or monthly update about what is coming to the Oasis, sneak preview of what tenants, live AMA with, for example, with RD Labs again. We are going to show this on this interactive TV where as long as you are in this metaverse, you would not have to go to a specific website and, you know, look back at a lot of Telegram chats to understand what's going on. There will always be a highlight reel to sort of share our vision and project and advancement with our community.
No, absolutely amazing. No, really appreciate it. So just walk us through the aspect of where you are. Obviously, I know next week the listing's taking place. We saw that there's a triple listing occurring. So obviously on Starter, Paid Network, and also on Ola, your launchpad. So just walk us through that thought process behind having a listing on these three various platforms and how that works in terms of the amount that's available per launchpad.
Yep. For this, I think I'll leave it to FS. He's more familiar.
Oh yeah. On Paid, I think the average ticket size we are looking at something within 150. Because I think they have a couple of tiering where it kind of like average it out about 150. On Starter, we are looking at somewhere within 300. And at our own Ola Launchpad is an average of about 200. Yeah. So on the amount of raise is basically 100 grand on Starter, 150 on Paid, and 50 on our own Launchpad. So that amounts to 300. It'll be all on the same day. It's on the 13th.
Absolutely fantastic. So basically, okay, cool. So on the 13th, same day happening out the gates. And then regarding the, obviously you showed with the partnerships that you have, I can see that there's aspects of more value from partners, advisors also coming on board. I heard there's more announcements coming. Where do you see Oasis really playing a role within this whole play to earn metaverse space? Do you believe this is going to be a space where there's one winner, or do you believe where you will essentially be this kind of glue that kind of like connects to all these various metaverses at this interoperability aspect where people will literally connect via yours as a way that they can be able to build relationships, communicate, and really have access to content and so on and so forth? Where do you see this actually moving to?
Or definitely on the later. We are not competing like directly with like all the because obviously in the space right now the whole hype on play to earn, gamify, and also NFTs are the new hype, right? The new wave, right? And we are not competing directly. Like we work more like an aggregator. So we welcome all of the gaming projects that are outside that is outside in the market. Obviously, right now that we are in BSC, so all of the partners are in BSC, and how it's going to work is that, let's just say that you guys have seen Cake Monster, right? So one of the main horses that is in play to earn, it might it might be the Cake Monster itself, so and the other games such as Splinterlands or Crypto Blades. We are finding ways to make like it's kind of a if you guys know the movie called Ready Player One. Yeah, so like we are onboarding like characters from each of the gaming protocols out there, and then basically everyone teams up and then participate in a guild against the main minion, where then the reward comes in the form of an airdrop. The airdrop tokens are also not just bound to just Oasis token, but also the partners token. So we kind of have an onboarding program for our partners to get on board with us. So it will you will have like a whole ecosystem of all the gaming protocols with some of their tokens. So that kinds of also solve the problem of a sell pressure, because the whole problem right now is that, let's just say that if you work on a dual token economy, say for example XC, right? So the whole reason for the SLP token, where it's used for breeding, that is essentially basically the crop token, right? And if you look at over the past 6 months, that is the graph is just declining, because players are just basically earning and then dumping the tokens. So the sole purpose of like creating an SLP token is to kind of to make sure that there is not much sell pressure on the AXS token. So we are overcoming this, so that that by onboarding many partners, there is not like just a sell pressure, but instead it can actually turn to more exposure of that particular partners that are onboarding with us. Yes. This is a long-winded answer. Yeah, hope that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. No, really appreciate that clarification there. If anyone in the group has any questions, please feel free to just add it in the chat. I have a question in terms of, because what I've seen, yes, right now the trending kind of GameFi space, Metaverse, you're seeing a lot of projects raising a lot of money, yes, millions of dollars. What I'm extremely so happy about is the amount of money that Oasis has raised correlated to the growth and the product development has been absolutely astonishing, right? So my question moving forward, how are you finding, because as you grow and you expand, you're going to have to onboard some, you know, some more. You have an existing phenomenal designers, as I can clearly see. We can see that, and obviously developers. You're going to have to obviously fight for talent. So what is going to be your strategy to be able to find ways to be able to onboard additional phenomenal designers, UI, you know, designers, developers, front end, back end, and really expanding from that aspect?
Yeah, this goes a long way back. Like we started like in end of Q1, Q2, and one of the main reasons that we are able to maintain at such a low burn rate in terms of OPEX is number one, the majority of our team is based in Southeast Asia. So in that sense, our OPEX is generally at least 50% lower. That is number one. In terms of talent, right now our team size is we have 19 in the team. In terms of designers, we have 4. So yeah, I think yes, we will probably need to add on maybe 1 or 2, but with everything that is going on, we have scaled basically from a team of 8 until 19 last 2 months. Yeah, last 2 months. So we do not see that it's going to be a big issue when it comes to terms of OPEX. And for new artists, I think our NFT collaborated artist is here. Rolf is here. So we work on a very.
You know about Rolf, the world-renowned Rolf, yes.
Yeah. So we work on a profit sharing module with all our guest artists. So basically there is no set OPEX on that. They are much invested because of their interest in the project and a lot of trust in Oasis. So I think that we kind of like they have our guest artists are like very confident and they will so it's of their best interest to make sure that like the end product, right, that is going to be on a global level stage, if you get what I mean. Yeah, because these are not like paid work. It's just like full passion. And if the project succeed, like the whole NFT series succeed, obviously like they will benefit a lot. But if it's just a B grade work or a C grade work, then there's not going to be any revenues. So there is no like a set OPEX to it. So that is how like we are managing our whole financials when it comes to OPEX. Yeah.
And also, as you mentioned, because obviously your lean business raised only what $500,000, whatever, compared to other projects doing 10x that, whatever, put that to the side. You have a clear vision. You're iterating, you're committing code, and what I mean is that as you grow, I feel that the people within your organization, within your project, are really passionate about this. And when you're passionate about something, you're willing to stand the test of time. Rather than jumping ship and going for, or creating your own project, or, the Axes, Affinities of the world that have deep pockets, right? That are willing to pay a lot of money for designers, for developers. So I think that the unique thing within this space is people want to behind and support something that they see long-term that can really kind of like really make a dent in this space, and I can clearly see what you have there. So we have a few questions here from Arnell Hopel as well. Okay, I think Wilson basically answered that. Basically, he's just saying regarding the IDO, I heard the max allocation for paid is $150 per ticket. How much is the max allocation per person for start?
Yeah, for on the starters platform, it's not finalized, but it will be a number within like 250 to 300.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
We're also hearing linguins that people are asking. Generally, when projects launch, there's a massive anticipation that happens. People are really salivating and looking forward to the launch. Then the project launches, and then they're like, what's next? What's happening, right? So how are you planning that process in terms of the next big core development within your roadmap, and between that, ensuring that there's people that are, there's a growth and increased amount of users within the platform, they're really enjoying it and they're not getting tired of what they're seeing?
Yeah, that is a great question. That's a great question. So post let's just break it down to say this is post IDO and just two months post IDO. So right away after post the IDO, basically there is going to be a liquidity mining program, and I know everyone gets a little bit fearful when liquidity mining is introduced, right? Because that just basically means like in general sell pressure, and we have something unique that we are able to overcome that. So essentially, liquidity mining is we find that is really important for, especially in the start of a project. What is happening in the space is basically, if it's a DEX or if it's just a farming website, like that is basically just like I think 90% of the time crop tokens, it just goes down in value, right? So people get very fearful when liquidity mining is brought up. And some projects, they introduce their liquidity mining program, say 4 months down the road. The main reason, like, we are introducing it at a very early stage, because it's only with liquidity mining with a control APR or APY that on the standards of DeFi, you will need that. If not, any project will always suffer liquidity issues, right? No matter how much initial liquidity is injected, like on a personal basis on Oasis, like we are injecting 150 grand, which is half of whatever that's raised in the public round as liquidity. But with the interest that that we are getting, like, we want to have like more than that. That is why we are introducing our liquidity mining program at a very early stage. And we will also have a farm 2 weeks. Yeah, a farm, like, we can't reveal yet, but I think by next week the announcement will be made. So there's going to be also a farm. So liquidity across BSC, that's not going to be an issue. It's going to be thick enough. So rather, even in the worst case, let's just say that there is a panic sell, right? You're not going to look at something that has like a negative 30 or negative 40% price impact. Yeah, I can assure you that for sure. That is number one on liquidity mining. Then moving from there, we will then introduce our NFT attributes. It's going to be very exclusive and a small quantity. It's nothing like what you're looking in the market, 10,000 minted pieces and all. We are not going that route. Like, ours is going to be a very, very small quantity, and it's going to be very exclusive. After the NFT is done, it's only natural that we have to introduce the marketplace. Then it's going to be the marketplace. Then we move to participate to earn and play to earn, and then it will be, I think by then we'll be at early next year, land sale will be introduced. Yeah.
No, absolutely fantastic. Regarding the NFTs, I think it's a great idea. Can obviously have a limited amount for scarcity reasons, right? And have like these rare NFTs. Will there be certain tiers for that? So one would have to hold a certain amount of tokens to be able to have access, or how would it work? Or is it pure random?
Yeah, so how it's going to work is that if you have X amount of Oasis that that you're holding or that's being staked, number one, you will get like a priority list, and by purchasing it with Oasis token, you will get a discount. So at this junction, we are still like debating like which might be the best route for revenues that's being generated within Oasis. Should we go with option one, which is buyback and burn, so that kinds of it becomes deflationary, or the part of the revenues, instead of buyback and burn, it will be distributed quarterly to the Oasis holder. Like, I think like both kinds of give a very good good result, but we are still discussing much internally, like which might be actually a more efficient approach. Yeah, like we really want to make sure that all of our holders are taken care of. Yeah.
No, of course, a balance, right, and incentivizing those that have been around and there. So no, absolutely fantastic. There's I think it's a comment here from Morislav, basically just mentioning handling Telegram groups after launch, as there's majority of the time lots of fun. So I think enjoyment aspect between launch and another roadmap achievement. Yeah, so that's fair. Got a question here from Arnel. Basically, another question: bots that buy a huge amount during launch and dump can have a detrimental effect on the growth of a project. Do we have any anti-snipe, anti-bot measures? It's quite funny, actually, you mentioned that I think we had a quite long conversation in our group chat yesterday about that, but it's good for the team to really talk. Do you have any anti-bot measures or anything in place for that? Even though I believe a lot of it doesn't really work, but do you have anything?
Yeah, Vince can take this.
I think in terms of preventing bots, we do actually have a mechanism to prevent bots, right? Which is via whitelisting. And in the future, in order for you to be able to participate in our IDO, we are going to have this sort of like to get whitelisted, you will need to perform some level of interaction in the Oasis platform. Probably we're going to have some quest or some mini game, or perhaps you need to do something within the Oasis platform. Only then you get a chance to join our IDO. And this is something that we are not going to have this kind of thing whereby we set it once and we are going to apply the same for every IDOs. It's going to be different. We are going to rotate for every IDOs so that it becomes almost impossible, or almost the bot creator won't be motivated to come up with the measure to come up with the bot to snipe our IDO.
Got it. I think Arno probably meant, if I'm right, mentioned about once listed, because obviously you see that a lot of snipe spots occurring once listed on the market, and you see prices pumped by 5, 10, 20, 50x, whatever it may be, right? So I think, is that the question, Arno? Is it listed, or do you mean IDO? Okay, so so listed basically.
Yeah, like I can answer that. So basically, the liquidity will be injected by one of our launchpad. I think it's better for us not to reveal by which launchpad is actually
exactly. You got some botters watching right now, listening.
That is number one. So we're actually working very closely with them, and they have an anti-bot mechanism. That is number one. Number two, that we are not just going to inject the liquidity in one single farm. So the norm is like the bots are just like they will get your contracts, then wait at Pancake, right? Yeah, like I don't think it's going to turn out well for them.
So there you go to the snipers. Please be aware.
Yeah. So we basically have that there is just basically two main layers. Number one, the launchpad is injecting the liquidity. They have something up their sleeve, and number two, like that liquidity is not just going to be injected into Pancake. So meaning that it's going to mess up the bots. What do you call that? That wording that implies the price impact. That tolerance thing that that usually they manage with the bot. Yeah
because there's some thought process behind, don't want to go off topic, people that literally say, well, projects could essentially hide some of the the code functions that will prevent a bot from accessing it. However, via upgradable functions, there's always scope for making upgrades and any changes and putting the malicious functions, right, and potential exploits. So there's this short-term goal, but then there's also the long-term plan, right? So there's a balance really has to be had. So yeah, I think you could just do your best and then see what happens. And the aim is, it's not just what happens within the first 10 minutes. you're building a project for years to come. And I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, like as much we will wish that that we will pop, and like just an advice, like the bots that buy it up, like they usually dump it in the next hour, right? So like we are here for a long run, so like just don't FOMO, just take your time, dollar cost average, like we are here for the long run, and we have a lot of like just for example, the NFT attribute that's going to be launched, like we have it, like it's done, it's like we are just not launching it soon, but like that whole the from the all the designs and the contracts is all done up, yeah, so we are here for a long run, so like just don't FOMO in like the first 10 minutes and try to compete against the bot or gas war and all those. That is not necessary.
I think this just resonates, and I think something compelling you just mentioned. You're already building things along the roadmap that's not ready for another couple of months. So it just shows that you're way ahead of the curve, and it's really important, and we always say this, really important to look behind the hood to see what's being done and what's tangible that people can be able to use in terms of functional product. So no, absolutely fantastic. Is there any other questions here? Or also from your side, guys and girls, anything from Oasis side that we may have missed, or anything that you want to point out that might be important for us to be aware of? And could someone actually just mute the mic, please?
Invece sì, è andato l'arco, ti dico, siamo arrivati, stack, c'erano tipo 80 extra comunicati.
Okay, absolutely fantastic. Okay, question here from Rolf. What's your favorite NFT?
I mean, to be honest, for myself, like especially for the last 2 weeks, and Vince has been like just focusing a lot to make sure that the whole smart contracts like we basically got a report from you, and then we have been working on it. So Vince has been very busy on it, and I've been working a lot with on the marketing end with a lot of partners that that is not announced yet. That's going to be announced in the next couple of days. A lot of them, and a lot of KOLs. So I'm not up to date what has been teased, so I do not want to reveal something that is that might be a big alpha,
So suspense. That's what we like.
but I think in every AMA we need to have a little bit of a dessert, so let me just text Wilson, and let's just share 1 or 2 alphas of the NFT. Yeah, just give him a moment. Probably Halliday and Wilson can take the floor for the moment.
Yeah, sounds
let me
good.
just get alphas. Yeah.
So while they're doing that, I'll probably pull over to Holiday. What do you think about the current space right now with a lot of projects on various ecosystems building? Do you believe that there's just going to be a silo, or do you believe there's just going to be this convergent where it's going to be a situation where there's going to be just one winner essentially?
We actually come from a very different mindset when we talk about Project Oasis, and even when you put in comparison to all the great projects out there like XC, right, which is the current market leader for play to earn. We do believe each of them come from their own space, which is their own genre of game type. And in the Oasis, we do not look to actually compete with anyone in this space. What we look to do is actually bring all of them together, because play to earn is something that will thrive definitely in the crypto space. And what we want to do is bring elements from every game that we can on board to the Oasis, so that people can naturally share their experiences with one another. If you talk about gaming alone is never fun, right? We want to enjoy this moment with our companions in this space. And that's what one thing I felt for crypto personally was, at the start, it can always be very lonely. And what we want to do is sort of bring people together, whether you're playing a different play to earn game, and we want to provide you with other opportunities in the space as well.
No, most definitely. It's like this whole social network 2.0 type scenario, right? Where,
Yeah.
and that's an addendum that I actually truly believe where this whole space is moving to. And I think this is within also your roadmap, establishing a DAO and then really connecting that in terms of like this social network where based on your interests, based on your hobbies, you can be able to seamlessly find someone or irrespective of where that person is in the world and connect to them via this one entity, as one platform. So totally agree. And I think enjoying what you're doing where it's not just the byproduct is not just financial gains. I know people want to make money and be financially free, but at the same token, when you die, you're not going to die with your money, right? So you at least want to enjoy what you're doing.
Yep. And to sort of touch on the question you asked, right? So for instance, NFT is the current hype in the market today. And does everyone think that NFT will last forever? I do think that eventually there'll be less and less because everyone is sort of like following the hype. But look at Oasis and our roadmap. Today, we are only planning to launch a very finite amount of attribute NFTs. The reason for us doing so is because we do believe in collaborating with strong NFT partners in the future. We will bring more diversity to our metaverse. So whether we are doing a collaboration NFT launch with them, we try to create it in an environment where not everyone is doing a cash grab, and every NFT project today is talking about, I have a roadmap, which actually doesn't really make sense. It's something like we do a sort of DAO, but everything is not visible to the public. So what we want to do is sort of make everything more visible and show that people that collaborate with us are here to stay in the crypto space.
No, very good, very good. It's great to hear. Fantastic. Okay, so basically, I think we'll be winding down. I know that FS, Vince, I'm sure you got something juicy for us before we end.
Yes. I think Wilson has to share his screen. Let me check. I've just gave him the permission. Yeah. So basically the middle one is my favorite. Right. We have like all the artwork is done. These three are the NFTs. If you want some story on that, I think Rolf or Halliday will be able to give you some description based on the NFTs.
Yeah. So just to give you a quick sharing on what is the theme of our NFTs. We are not going something very bizarre or what, but we do believe because we are gamifying DeFi. So we are going to implement certain legendary characters to the game. And the concept we are using is we are actually going to use bulls, bears, and apes. Why do we choose these three? Is because we feel that they are relevant to the DeFi space. And we want to sort of populate our metaverse with this crowd first. And having these NFTs would look awesome, like bulls chasing bear around the metaverse. When the market is up, you see a lot of bulls cheering for it. So that is the sort of impression we want to provide with these NFTs at the current junction.
No, absolutely amazing. Thanks for providing us some insight into this. Yeah, we're all really, really looking forward to this. I just thank you for the time today. I know there's only a few days away before the launch, and they're taking the time out to do it, with our community. Really appreciate it. For those that didn't get involved, during the earlier rounds, please try your best to see if you can get involved during the, any of the launch pads for the IDO. If not, it really starts once it's listed. So there's going to be phenomenal opportunities, and spend time. Please pop along to their official Telegram group. And just follow and to try and communicate and help and support and provide as much value as possible. I think this project's really onto something. I said this from day one, even before a website was built, and I'm saying it till today. I think they're really going to have something really pioneering. So Moses says basically beers casting red candle spells super effective. Exactly. Fantastic. No, guys and girls, really appreciate your time. Really fantastic. And we wish you the best of luck in terms of launch. And yeah, we'll be following you very, very closely. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ken.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.